Curves Ahead. Book 4, Sweet Like Whiskey. A short and steamy, curvy girl romance by Everly True. A Coral-based short romance series. Chapter 1. Whiskey Burn and Unfinished Business. The door to Savannah's creaked open just after closing time, letting in the scent of rain and trouble. Savannah Quinn didn't have to look up. She felt it, the shift in air, the pause in her pulse. "Thought you closed at midnight," said a voice she hadn't heard in 2 years. Liam Dalton, the man who once whispered love songs against her throat, the man who promised forever, then left for Nashville before sunrise. Savannah turned, towel still in her hand. He looked the same, just a little older, a little tired around the eyes, still too damn handsome for his own good. "Bar's closed," she said flatly. "Try the liquor store." He smiled slowly and carefully, like he was memorizing every curve she still carried, his gaze heavy with hunger he didn't bother to hide. "Can't. I came for the good stuff." She met his gaze. "You can't afford it." It was supposed to sting. It didn't. Not enough. Because beneath the anger was the ache, the memory of his hands on her hips, the way he used to hum when he kissed her. She hated that her body still remembered. He slid onto a stool anyway. One whiskey. No chaser. Her fingers tightened around the bottle before she poured. "One drink, Dalton, then you disappear again." He accepted the glass, their fingertips brushing. Electricity. Stupid. Dangerous electricity. He knocked the shot back, eyes never leaving hers. "For the record," he murmured, disappearing didn't help. Her breath caught, but she hid it behind another pour. Flashback. 2 years ago. Back then, the bar had smelled like fresh paint and beginnings. Liam had just finished helping her hang the last sign over the counter. Sweet like whiskey. Savannah laughed. "That's not the name of the bar." He'd grinned, hand on her waist. "No, that saying is just like our love. Sweet but strong." He kissed her then. Slow, deep, the kind of kiss that anchored itself into memory. She believed him, believed in them, until the record deal came, until the goodbye note taped to her bar door. Back to present. Now he sat there, older, heavier with guilt. And she? She was still fire, still untouchable, still pretending she hadn't once built her dreams around him. "You heard about my dad?" he asked softly. She nodded. "I'm sorry, Liam." He swallowed. "Yeah, me too. For a lot of things." Her hand trembled as she wiped the bar. "If you want forgiveness, it's not on tap." His smirk faded. "No, but maybe it's still in the bottle." Chapter 2. Pour slow, kiss slower. The funeral came and went. Liam stayed in town longer than anyone expected. Long enough to keep showing up at Sweet Like Whiskey. Long enough to remind Savannah why she loved him, and why she shouldn't again. But one night, after closing, the storm outside matched the one inside her. Thunder rolled, the lights flickered, and Liam was still there, sitting on the counter like he belonged. "You remember the night we painted this place?" he asked. "Unfortunately, you had paint on your cheek. I kissed it off." Flashback. 2 years ago. The bar smelled like fresh paint and sweat and possibility. They were barefoot on the hardwood, both splattered in streaks of dusty teal, laughing like they had time to waste. Savannah leaned against the ladder, flushed and radiant, a smudge of blue on her cheekbone. Liam crossed the room with a look that turned her insides molten. "You've got something right here," he murmured, brushing his thumb across her cheek, and then leaning in slow, eyes locked on hers. His lips landed soft and lingering against her skin. She'd meant to tease him, meant to say something snarky, but he didn't stop. He kissed her again, not her cheek this time, her jaw, her neck, the corner of her mouth, until she turned into him with a soft gasp and kissed him back, open-mouthed and hungry. Paint-streaked fingers tangled in his hair as he backed her into the bar, her shirt bunched in his fists, lips moving like they already knew every inch of each other. "I love you. You know that," he whispered, breath hot against her collarbone. She gripped the hem of his tee and pulled it over his head. "Then show me." They made love right there on the floor, still half covered in paint, her name slipping from his lips like a hymn. Back to present. She turned toward him. "That was before you traded in small-town girls for record deals." He pushed off the counter, stepping closer. "I traded in the noise, not you." She scoffed. "You left me. I came back." "Too late." "Then tell me to leave," he said, voice low, "and I will." But she didn't. He took another step, then another, until the air between them broke like a fever. His hands found her waist first, tentative, reverent. Her breath hitched when he touched her, every nerve firing like it remembered the way they fit. "Savannah." Her name in his voice was a sin. She reached up, fingers curling in his shirt. "Stop talking." The kiss was messy, desperate, all tongue and apology. He tasted like whiskey and regret, like the years they'd both wasted apart. Her back hit the counter. His hand slid down her curves, steady and sure. She felt the tremor in his chest when she pressed against him, the sound he made when she whispered his name. It wasn't about revenge or forgiveness anymore. It was need. It was memory. It was everything they never got right the first time. When he lifted her onto the bar, she gasped, her legs wrapping around his hips without hesitation. His stubble scraped her neck as his mouth moved hot and slow beneath her ear, breath uneven. "You still drive me crazy," he murmured. She smiled, fingers tangled in his hair, breathless and bold. "Good." Chapter 3. Aftertaste of You. Morning sunlight spilled across the bar floor, catching on empty glasses and discarded inhibition. Savannah leaned against the counter, hair a mess, heart worse. Liam was tuning a guitar near the window, bare feet on the floorboards like he'd never left. "You're staying?" she asked. "For a while?" "You say that like it's temporary." He looked up. "I've got nowhere else that feels like home." Her chest tightened. "You can't just waltz back in and make me forget." "I don't want you to forget," he said. "I want you to remember. Everything good, everything bad, and still choose me." She laughed softly. "You make it sound easy." "It's not." He set the guitar down and walked to her, fingers brushing her chin. "But nothing worth fixing ever is." She leaned in, forehead against his. "If you break me again, Liam Dalton, I'll bury you under this bar." He smiled. "Fair enough." Weeks passed. The bar buzzed louder than it had in years. Locals came for the drinks but stayed for the live music. The songs he wrote about her, about Coral Bay, about second chances that don't come cheap. One night, as she wiped down the counter, Ruby from the garage stopped in with Evan. Savannah poured them each a whiskey. Ruby smirked. "So, this is the famous Liam Dalton?" Savannah shot her a look. "Don't start." Ruby grinned. "Too late." Epilogue. Sugar, salt, and whiskey. The next women's circle. Potluck smelled like cinnamon, gasoline, and good intentions barely holding together. Savannah brought her signature whiskey truffles. Ruby showed up fashionably late. grease smudge on her cheek, Evan trailing behind with a folding table and a toolbox, just in case. Tessa and Dean were arguing gently over tripod angles for a charity shoot. Liam played a slow tune in the corner, eyes tracking Savannah's every move like she might disappear if he blinked. And then the door opened. A new presence crossed the threshold with that "I was dragged here against my will" look. Denim jacket, stormy eyes, wild hair, barely twisted into a bun. Addie Cole. She set down a container of lemon bars and looked like she was ready to bolt. "First timer?" Savannah asked, passing her a drink. Addie nodded once. "Kind of. My sister-in-law usually comes, but she's out of town. I figured, why not?" From behind her, Jake Lawson appeared. Tall, broad, and unmistakably flustered. A streak of soot ran across his forearm, and his fire captain jacket was slung over his shoulder. He scanned the room like a man searching for an exit, then froze when his eyes landed on Addie. She rolled hers. "Don't even." Savannah exchanged a knowing look with Ruby. Ruby just grinned. "Let me guess. Trapped in a storm, a fire, and someone's boundaries got burned." Addie didn't answer, but her flushed cheeks said enough. From across the room, Jake rubbed the back of his neck and reached for a lemon bar like it owed him something. And just like that, Coral Bay had another fire brewing. Slow, smoldering, and bound to leave a mark. The end. And the beginning. Next up and curves ahead, the fireman's undoing. A note from Everly True. Thank you for spending your evening in Coral Bay. Thanks for listening to Sweet Like Whiskey. If you love this curvy, steamy small-town romance, you can grab a copy of the ebook on Amazon. Subscribe for weekly romance audiobooks and short reads. I post new stories every week. Follow LeVara Romance on Facebook. Follow LeVara Romance on Instagram. Also by Everly True. The Fireman's Undoing, Curves Ahead number 5. Coffee and Confessions, Curves Ahead number 6. Off Limits, Curves Ahead number 7.